money and happiness together. One way of just finding out about this really interesting question, does money buy happiness, is to go to the poorest people in the world and ask them, are you guys happy? And then to go to the richest people in the world and ask them, are you guys happy? So we have done both of those things. I have spent a huge amount of my personal career living with people in very kind of exotic communities, all of whom, for one reason or another, live a very materially simple lifestyle. So I've lived with Maasai tribal people who live a traditional lifestyle in East Africa. I've lived with Amish farmers who choose a materially simple lifestyle. I've lived in the northern tip of Greenland with people who, because of a hostile environment, have no choice but to live a pretty materially simple lifestyle. But just as I can hang out with people living in sprawling slum areas in India, I am just as comfortable hanging out with the well-heeled. More comfortable, even. 2 weeks ago, this was my view from where I was staying in Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat on the Mediterranean, just outside of Nice, is around the bend there. This is one of the many, in what the super wealthy are like and what they do all day, as I am in what people living in slums do all day. Let's find out what the data say. I spent about a year in Calcutta. I had an apartment there, and every day I would go off and interview people living in really deplorable, impoverished conditions. People who are living in huts made out of found materials, who are constantly under threat of eviction from the police because developers wanted their land. Women mostly, who cooked using indoor kerosene heaters that would scar the walls with dark marks and terrible for ventilation. The men who worked as day laborers, often for just a dollar or slightly more than $1 a day. And I asked them, how satisfied are you? How satisfied are you with your relationships? How satisfied are you with your own intelligence? How satisfied are you with your income? I just asked them dozens and dozens of questions. I just wanted to find out what was going right and what was not going right for them. Now, it was interesting, where people's opinions are concerned, when I started to go over there, I said, I'm going to go find out from these people about their happiness. I'm not going to make any assumptions. And there was one group of my friends who said, oh, Robert, you know they're miserable. They don't have vacuum cleaners. They don't have Harry Potter. There's just, they don't have the stuff that makes life worth living. And then I had another group of friends who said, oh, Robert, you know they're so joyful. They're the only people who can know real happiness. And the second group really romanticized the life of the poor. Well, here's what I found. I found that they were really happy with anything having to do with themselves. People like themselves. They said, hey, I'm good looking. I'm smart. I'm a moral person. I make good ethical decisions. No one can take that away from me for any amount of money. But when it came to their external circumstances, they were miserable. They experienced stress and anxiety and sadness. They worried for their kids. They said, I'm very dissatisfied with my housing. I'm very dissatisfied with my income. The one exception to that rule was their food. They had really high satisfaction with their food. I have no idea what to make of it. If any of you guys have a brilliant idea, please come see me after. So the complete picture is we can't just dismiss them as being miserable. They do experience some good things, but we also should stop far short of romanticizing them. What about the super wealthy? We compared people who had a net worth of $125 million or more with their financial mere mortal counterparts living in the same geographic area. And we just wanted to know what % of you are happy and which are not. We found out that of the very wealthy, more than 70% said they were happy, and more than 60% of the mere mortals said they were happy. So here you have a preponderance of people reporting happiness. I think that's quite interesting. I mean, not everyone is miserable, but the very wealthy were not exactly doing too poorly. The number you see underneath is on a 1 to 7 scale on overall life satisfaction, where 4 is the midpoint. So you see the rich eke out a little bit extra satisfaction above the middle class. Again, this isn't suggesting that anyone is doing badly. It's just suggesting that something about being very wealthy may translate into some type of emotional gold.